The boats have truly left the harbour, but we are heading straight for the iceberg. Welcome back, people. Welcome back to Swigz Talks Spurs. Do you know what that meant? That was my own version of Igor Tudor's analogy of boats in this week's rendition of Spurs being a absolute atrocious club from top to bottom. Um, First off, welcome to the channel. Today's video could be a bit of a longer one, so bear that in mind when watching on further. If that's what you like, great. If not, my apologies for that. But I'm going to cover a couple of different things in this video just in relation to Spurs as a club and how we've got here, or maybe not how we got here, how we move forward as a club and as an organization. I suppose I've took a bit of time off from initially giving my reaction to the Palace defeat, which was hard to take. But I'm back now. I've done a little bit more research on things, and I'm back to kind of give my own 2 cents on Spurs from where we are now and where we seem to be heading towards. So, if you like that, if you like what you hear so far, please give a thumbs up. The last couple of videos have been absolutely savage, so thank you so much to all of them, all the new subscribers, all the new people who are coming in, viewing the channel. It's been absolutely savage. So thank you so much for that. And if you're new here and you like what you see, please join the movement, join Swigz Talks Spurs, the community, for free. Would you believe it? And in this day and age, cutting anything for free is so hard to come by. So if you wouldn't mind hitting the red button below, that would be greatly appreciated. Now, how this video is going to structure is I'm going to cover it in maybe five different key topics. So I'm going to first give my 2 cents on Spurs loss to Crystal Palace. I want to go through maybe some tactical issues and tactical problems that we seem to be continuing from Igor Tudor's side. I want to touch on confidence and the role that seems to be playing within us, in our side, in the players. I'm going to look at as well potential bigger problems then on field as well, maybe more off field influence as well. And I'm going to kind of wrap it all up on where we kind of go from here. So yeah, so if you're that all sounds good, let's get right into the video. So that's going to kick off with obviously we lost a couple of days ago now to Crystal Palace. We were shambolic in that game. We didn't create anything. We weren't good. We lost battles in the midfield. Mickey van de Ven obviously got sent off after we going 1-0 up. We then concede. Van de Ven sent off, pulling down Sarr in the box. And as Tottenham have shown in the whole of this season, we implode. We go from being 1-0 up within the next 10-15 minutes to being 3-1 down, and then it being half time. If ever there was a game to sum us up, I think Palace was the one that would it just epitomized Spurs and their season this year. We were absolutely chronic. We were diabolical. We had no creativity. Defensively, we were making mistakes left, right, and centre. We were getting overrun in the midfield. Again, Tudor doesn't seem to have made any cop on in terms of slotting Gallagher and Polina in the middle of the park to help kind of consolidate us and give us a basic framework to work off of. And probably the biggest one of all is that the players looked drained. Now you might be saying, how can the players look drained when they haven't given anything all season? That's very true, and to I agree to those who would argue at that point, but they look drained from the point of view of caring. These players do not care. They are at a football club. Nothing. There's no loyalty in the game as it stands as of now, and they don't care. They've checked out. They've completely and utterly checked out. Two players that can come away from that game with their heads hanging high: Matisse Tell and Archie Gray. Now, I am still not in the Archie Bay fan club of he's going to be world class, he's going to be a world beater. Far from that, he is well off that at this rate. He has just been the player that has probably shown the most out of all the players, which isn't something great to be seen at all. Or Matisse Tell then on the other hand as well, I think Tell, he looked okay. He looked fine. Didn't set the world on fire at all, but put in an okay performance, obviously, before, we imploded. Um, so yeah, those two can hold their heads up somewhat high, still not too high, because we're still battling relegation, but high enough to the point that they at least showed effort. The other nine, you wouldn't even know they were there. You wouldn't, you know. Um, I've seen that obviously some people, myself included, are probably resigned to the fact that we're going down. We're doing what Jay Sean said, we're going down, 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 but instead of little Wayne, we have little pain, and instead of little, we got a lot of it. We got so much pain, us as Spurs fans now going into this. It was a rotten game. It was, everything we didn't want in a game, and it would just epitomize us as a whole season. So yeah, where do we go from here with the defeats? We have Atletico Madrid coming up. Maybe we'll put in something for that because it's in Europe. Who knows? But as of the loss itself, I do think it's really a testament to players' confidence and tactical issues, which is what I'm going to speak on now in terms of Tudor and how we're setting up. Now, you may have seen, if any of you watched the game or the highlights, that Tudor has decided in his universal knowledge of the game that, you know what, I'm going to reinvent the wheel. I'm going to put a right wing back and we're going to slot him in right centre back. Genius. Genius. Honest to God. People talk about Pep. People talk about Klopp, Sir Alex. Their methods of coaching, their methods of playing. Gegenpressing. Tiki taka. No, let's step back. Igor Tudor has found a solution to playing about a 5'10" right winger attacking fullback. We're going to slot him in at right back. Or right centre back, sorry. What the hell was he thinking? I know we're short on options and stuff like that, but Jesus, when I seen it, I was like, is Barrow playing centre half? Honest to God, that was one thing. That was probably the biggest thing I think that we can all take away from it was that he was playing Barrow at centre half. Honest to God, you know, just clueless. Again, so that was Barrow's issue. Again, no midfield, absolutely useless. Just, we'll play the three or three at the back and just leave midfield just open. Just let him run through. Let him run through. Give our centre half somewhat to do, something to do at least. Um, and yeah, and then there's other players I suppose that he was using like Archie Gray as a midfielder by trade. Gray now, as I said before, to put in somewhat of a decent enough performance. But that kid, he's his biggest strength is his availability, and he's great for that. But it's a huge curse on him that he's just being utilized in every position. You know, all across the back, all across the defense, centre midfielder, advanced eight. You know, I won't be surprised if he plays him up bloody top against Atletico Madrid. On Tuesday. So I think that is a huge issue. I think also Simmons has just been atrocious. People don't talk about how big of a flop I really think he has been for Spurs. Coming in as a huge rep and he's not even getting a look in. And even when he comes on, he spends more time moaning and groaning and going, oh ref, ref, all this crack. Put yourself in there. Get yourself in on the ball. He's great on the ball. He had one instance, I think, in the second half, right when he came on, and he was charging, and I was like, Jesus, this is unreal. He's unreal. Next thing he stopped. He stopped in. He was meant to be our talisman. When Madison got injured, Simmons was meant to come in. Great. We've invested now in a new number 10. Young, he's still one of the club's highest paid players behind Conor Gallagher, or a joint with Conor Gallagher probably. But he's not getting it. He's not getting a tune out of, you know, Tudor's not getting a tune out of Simmons. He plays Simmons on the left wing sometimes, and then he's also playing Colin Moani on the right. Now, I will say Moani, his head ain't in it. His head is gone. He is thinking of France, and his head's probably thinking of Juve in the summer. So he's never, his head was never here. His head was, for me, is always in Turin. always, always. But he was useless as well. He was just giving away freeze after freeze after freeze. It was a damning indictment of what we were like, how they would even conduct themselves. Like these are professional footballers, yet they're acting like 11-year-olds. I've done coaching before. I saw any of the teams that I've done, 12-year-olds that I'd be coaching, they put more heart, more fire, more passion into their performance on Sunday League than these who are getting paid multi-millions. It's a really, really bad show on Tudor and on the players. Think that we've put in such a lackluster performance. And again, look, it's fair to say Tudor's tactics have been found out. It's taken 3 games with 3 losses and nothing to show from it. We haven't learnt anything new. And because of his tactics, we find ourselves now literally hovering above the relegation zone. With that, then decline within tactics and tactical prowess and stuff, that breeds then the lack of confidence, which I'm going to talk to now. We have seen our lads, our Spurs players, have no confidence. Anything that they have, they're gone. They're zoned out. They have nothing left in their tank. You could see we also saw, if you keep thinking, I'm looking down here because I made some notes, so that's why I'm looking down. But the players look disinterested. None of them are in a preparation for a relegation fight. Yeah, the likes of Solanke and Wilson Oliver's out for ACL, so he ain't doing any fighting anyways. Solanke went down with Bournemouth, but that's it. Really, we shouldn't have to have players who've experienced relegation in order to be able to put in a performance of a professional standard. I know if I was in their position, the last thing I'd want on my CV at the end of my career, yeah, I could have all the trophies in the world. Or I could, been playing, break the Premier League record, for instance, with the amount of appearances. But on that on that career portfolio, if you will, I have a little asterisk beside it, relegated with Spurs. I wouldn't want that. I know some players probably they don't give a shit. They don't care. But be a professional, have a bit of somewhat kind of pride in your work and pride in the fact that no, I'm not going to be the one now who gets relegated. I'm not going to have that on my conscience, on my career. I'm not going to have that stain on my legacy or my stain on my career. That's not what I want. And the way to do that, show passion, show fight, show determination. Win first balls. You don't win them, you win second. You don't get them, you win third. You don't get them, you win the fourth one. You put tackles, you put challenges in, you create chances, expose opposition's weaknesses. All this, it's so easy for us to say, and but that's because it is. That's us. That's us as a fan. We're not even getting paid for this. This is just our general view on it. Players actually are getting taught this. Like they're exposed that this is what it should be. And I think that it comes from the top down. It comes from the top down. We have built an environment of absolute and utter comfortability. Of, as Sir Alex always said, complacency is a disease. And I think our players are completely complacent with who they are and where they are in the league. I don't think they have any interest in putting in any performance because they know they're gone. They know they're off in the summer. If we get relegated, they're sorted. You know. Do you think the likes of Van de Ven is going to stick around? No. Romero? No. Simmons? Not a chance. Gallagher? No. We might be lucky to hold on to one or two of the youngsters. Vuskovic, who's off bossing it in the Bundesliga, he ain't going to be coming wanting to play for Championship Tottenham. He'll be like, lads, I've been Barcelona are sniffing around me. They want me starting right beside Kovacic. I'll happily sign for them. We are an absolute travesty of a club, and you can see it in the players' reactions. There is no confidence with them. You saw it even with the likes of Paro coming off frustrated. If he put as much effort in his performance as he did with punching the living daylights out of that chair and slamming and shouting and roaring, unreal. Love the kid for having passion. Absolutely brilliant. But show that on the pitch. Don't show it when you get hooked on when you get hooked and get subbed off. because you get subbed off because of your lack of performance on the pitch. If he was putting in balls left, right, and centre, and Solanke or Richarlison were getting onto him, you'd have a claim. You'd be like, why am I getting taken off? I've put in a good performance. He did nothing. He did absolutely nothing. So, you know, he's like they're so mollycoddled players nowadays and so fragile that it's damning. It's not a good look for us. It's not a good look probably for the game, really, but it's not a good look for us. And I suppose that I would say is feeding then into the bigger problem at Spurs. And so I ask ye, like other Spurs fans, other football fans even in general, what do ye think? What do you think bigger problems at Spurs are? Because as I'm going to touch on right now, for me, it stems from the top down. Any organization that is successful has a successful, or let's say, football model or football plan. If it's in business, if it's in finance, it is a plan suited for that. And you have the right people in the right roles doing the right jobs. We have the wrong people in the wrong jobs doing the wrong bloody thing. You start at the top. Enoch and Lewis need to get gone, or they need to get gone. They do. They have shown if January was ever a time they showed that they did not want to back the club. Last year we were threatening with relegation, and you'd think logically, you'd think, maybe we'll invest more now in the squad this year. We'll give the new manager Frank coming in as much resource as he can, and we'll better so that we're not in this precarious position again. Fast forward 8, 9 months later, here we are in a worse one, and it's absolutely diabolical. So Enoch and Lewis need to take the blame. Tudor needs to take the blame as well. He is just not getting a fine tune out of anyone. You know, Vinay and Lang, not Ange, she's not Ange, Lange or Lang, Johan Lang. Useless, absolutely useless. You know, they've come in for Daniel Levy in a sense, and where it was a one-man running show, we've now tried to pawn off all the responsibilities to people who are not football people. And I'm talking about board of management, I'm talking about board of directors, I'm talking about all of those tiered people. Like the Charrington as well coming in. What football experience does he have? We have no footballing people on the board. That should say it enough to you about how screwed. If there's no footballing people at the top, that breeds down, that filters all down. Spurs is a money making is a money business. They are a financial business at the end of the day, in the eyes of the owners. So would it not make sense even for them? If we employ football people to do the footballing side, we can maybe generate more football revenue, which will further deepen our pockets. But no, they want to take the business financial right route and not do that. It's honestly it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. And for me, this all started when we got to the Champions League final with Poch in charge against Liverpool. We set ourselves up for failure in doing that. That was a fluke, bigger fluke than even maybe not as big, but a definitely close second fluke to then Leicester winning the league. It was shocking that no one expected it to come, but we did. That was the moment. Poch even said it himself with that analogy. You can have the nice house, but you need the right furniture in place, and it needs to be a tough rebuild. We didn't back him. And from that moment has led us, what is it, 6, nearly 7 years? That moment has led us now to this. So we are seeing the decline of Spurs, of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, and it's gotten worse and worse year on year. And here we are. Here we are. We are literally Tudor said about boats, and he's happy with seeing whatever boats it was that in the direction. We are on a boat. We have no captain. We have no crew. We are solely reliant on the tide, the wind, and the elements helping us get through this absolute tsunami that we see coming. We have no one. It is on just the boat. And if you're having just faith in the boat, hate to break it to you, chances are that boat is she going down. Like Pitbull and Kesha, she going down like timber. We ain't getting out of it. So, where does that leave us? Where does that leave Spurs? Well, we're still hovering with relegation. We still have Tudor in charge as of the video now. Do we sack him? Does Tudor get the road? If he does, who do you bring in? As much as I'd love Harry Redknapp to come back in, the man is 79 years of age. He has done his duties in as being a manager. He doesn't need that stress on him at all. You don't need that stress at that age in life. You want to enjoy your life. Do you bring in the likes of Sean Dyche, a Sam Allardyce? You know, Dyche was performing well at Forest, got, in my opinion, unfairly sacked. Do you let him have a crack at it to try and get us out in safety? Maybe. I seen this morning that we were thinking that we'd get De Zerbi for if we stay in the Premier League. De Zerbi will be our manager in the summer. That's great coming out, yeah, that's all well and good. But what if we're in the Championship, lads? If we're in the Championship, because that is a real possibility, what then? Um, there's obviously no quick fix with this. With this, the only thing that can happen, maybe, and I've seen some channels saying it, is there change, and with change, protest. Does protest work? I don't know personally. I don't really have too much of an opinion on it, so I'm not really going to voice it here, per se, because I don't have. I'm not as heavily invested in that side of things, I suppose, as other fan channels and as other content creators and other fans. But would that change? I don't know really. I don't know. Um, so yeah, maybe it would solve something short term, but long term, I don't see it. I don't really see that happening at all. So yeah, so that is that really. Yeah, sorry, no, the video's been going on a good over 22 minutes nearly. But yeah, that's it, everything. That's pretty much all I kind of wanted to cover, between giving my 2 cents on the Palace, our tactical issues, how we've no confidence, we are wrapped up in our own little bubble, players not wanting to fight. There's bigger problems at the club than what's been on field. I think off field as well. We're struggling really. I seen what was it that Land was supposedly wanting to use an agency to help find a director of football. Um, which is astounding to say the least. Um, but I also think that I've seen that Spurs want a director of football, but to work with Lang, sorry, however you pronounce his name, that they report to him, which is kind of astounding to think that he wouldn't be let go, um, and the new director of football come in and run the joint. But yeah, anyways, that is my 2 cents on the matter. Let me know what you think of any of that or all of that, if you are so interested. Do you think we are destined for championship? Do you think that there's bigger problems outside of just the players and the club? By the club, I mean, but with Tudor, do you think he's the issue? Do you think the players are the issue? Are the board the issue? Is it a culmination of the issue? Are the fans the issue? What is wrong with Tottenham Hotspur? There we go. That's how I'm going to end. What is wrong with Spurs, in your opinion? Let me know down below in the comments section. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, that is savage of you. Give yourself a pat on the back for doing so. I'm going to now go and make a cuppa and try and relax for some of the weekend before we kick off against Atletico Madrid on Tuesday night. So I will hopefully have a video out before that, giving my 2 cents on that. And so stay tuned for that. And yeah, if you like the video, like I said, thanks, or not if you like, thank you so much again for all the engagement with the last couple of videos and subscribers and everything like that. It's unreal. So big up to all of you, big up to every single one of you for doing so. And thanks again for all watching. And until next time, I've been Swigz, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.